Hey,
How's everyone doing?
this is Rewind Wednesday, the live stream that never stopped. Now, I'm Dan Allegra, and this is Callum.
How you doing?
Figured we should start doing an introduction, being that some of you guys might not have seen us before. So,
Yeah,
how was that one? Was that one good?
that was good.
This is Rewind Wednesday with Dan and Callum. We are here to mess up your day. No,
To rock your world with music and movies.
yeah. So, yeah, no, we want to rock your music and watch your movies.
Ooh. Yeah,
Or do we want to? Yeah,
I like that. Yeah.
that's as good as I got. That's as good as I got. So no, thank
Yeah.
you for. We know there's some technical difficulties. We're running 15 minutes late. These things happen, but we're here, and for you who stayed, oh, it's gonna be a treat.
Yeah. Mentioning, did we switch dial up? Yes. Yes, we did. Yeah,
Yeah.
we had to kick somebody off the phone. Someone was trying to take a phone call, and you know what that's like.
They yelled at me because I was trying to play Quake 3 Arena, and we're trying to go live. Damn it! But yeah, no, this is a big week for Rewind. We announced the launch of music.
Music, right here.
Party and no. So
First
no,
time you've seen it live.
yeah, no, we've been wanting to show it before, and we had these beautiful encapsulations. And we wanted to wait till we had it approved 100%. And I personally don't like promising something we can't deliver, so we are ready to rock and roll. And I'm really excited that we're at this point of juncture
Yeah.
to put out a release date, and we'll be starting our soft launch soon.
Yeah, it's crazy. Anyone who's been here for a while, every week we keep talking. It's coming, and now it's here.
It is here.
It's happening, and it's the same feeling like VHS. We knew it was happening. We knew it was coming. Nobody else kind of knew what was going on in the background until it's here.
So much goes into it. It's funny because with the launch, some of you may have seen that we put up a video of our launch and me talking to the camera, and we're happy to put something out to kind of try to reach out to the community to let them know what's happening. And my favorite part is the haters.
Yeah.
That we get along with it. It's always expected. It's natural, but it's fun to engage with the community, both sides. And some people believe in grading, and some people like to hate, and that's fun too. And
yeah, here's what it is.
Haters
gonna hate.
Haters gonna hate. Well, it's going on this journey. There was no question that, like, me personally, I had to think of, do I want to go through this? Because I will be hated by some for no reasons I will know beforehand.
Yeah.
And also, do I want to put my family through that? Just crazy people out there and shit. But, I feel we live once. You take chances, and this will be fun. I love the people that join on Rewind Wednesday because it means a lot to be able to share this journey. That's what Rewind Wednesday is about, is sharing the journey that we're going through with you and being able to talk about kind of what's happening in the week of Rewind.
Yeah.
So it's great to thank you for showing up.
And bearing with us.
Yeah.
With the technical issues,
Yeah, bearing with us.
Yeah.
And
it is the Rewind way.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be plain sailing,
Yeah. Well, first off, let's show off some of the encapsulation, because this thing has been such a labor of love. I'm like messing this up, but the palm of your hand. It has, if you felt the VHS, yes, this is exactly like that. It's the same material.
The polycarbonate case with the PETG blister inside.
Yep.
It's perfectly fitted to the size of the cassette, the CD, VHS, everything.
Yep. And it just, this is the shit.
Yeah.
It's, being on this journey, and we're finally able to approve everything, get everything in, and see it. It really.
Munchnick says you have small hands.
I do not have small hands. Yeah, no, actually, these are like pretty much. I like to think of the size.
It is hand size. Like it's.
Munchnick, imagine my hand. Come at your face. No, I can't. But
yeah, it's perfect. It really is. Like, it's from having nothing that is good out there to having this that fits perfectly. It's opposite. You'll get there.
Yeah.
And it perfectly preserves the tape inside, or the cassette inside, or the CD inside. Like, that's super important. Having the label that is all around, like it is a full 360 label that you can see through the top. Like, you can see your media inside. Like, there's no view obstructed of the content. The information that you want is there, and everything you want is there.
Yeah, I mean, the crazy thing about like going through this journey about music and even cassettes, because I remember cassettes when I was young, and it's more than just a cassette. It's like all this history that went into one album, all the hard out work and everything else, and all our nostalgic memories going into just right here. You know, like what did, you know, Notorious B.I.G. Ready to Die, his only album that he released while he was alive, you know, was able to release like that. I just, you know,
Yeah.
and it means a lot to be able to work on something that, you know, very passionate about, and try to keep doing it right. You know, there's not a whole lot of things like this, and it's cool to be able to preserve it.
Yeah, that's it. You know, it's all these media and all these releases that artists have made or movies that have come out. To someone, it is worth, and to us, it's worth preserving that. Like, we're not just preserving it for now. Like, it is preserving it for the future. You think, like, this is going to exist for a very long time, unchanged. Like, and it's pretty incredible to thinking you can pass it down to people.
Yeah, no, I mean, I just like thinking of a library of, you know, the cool thing with cassettes and CDs, you know, CDs are part of the launch too, is how many you could fit on one shelf, and, you know, really be able to collect. Because sometimes that's been frustrating when collecting other verticals, even graded stuff, is size matters. You know, we only have so much space on the shelf, and,
Yeah.
you know, and also affordability, that, you know, you can buy something relatively inexpensive and get a whole lot of awesomeness in that whole case. I've been saying awesomeness a little bit more lately.
Okay.
It's a
Part of your vocab now? Awesomeness.
awesomeness. It's funny because I don't actually like the word awesomeness, but I
Yeah.
think it's funny to use.
It's awesome is such an American word as well, but it's a really good word that describes what it is. Like, it is awe-inspiring.
Yeah,
Like, it really is. Like, I remember the first time we got these in and we encapsulated something and we just put it down and stared at it. It's like, this is it.
Ooh.
Like, it is. And same with the CD as well. It just sits there and does its job.
I think it's going to be fun to see how people collect. And that's we mentioned the different format, you know, choose your format, that you get to choose how you want to collect. Is it cassette? Is it CD? Is it records?
Right.
And, you know, we the only reason we're not launching records at the same time, because we wanted, well, one of the reasons is we wanted CDs and cassettes to have their own kind of launch in time. Vinyls are not far behind that. Actually, it's very close to that. So we thought it'd be fun to give these a moment, because just one of them would be a very cool vertical, and let alone we're dropping 3 verticals in probably a few weeks' time, or something like that. I don't know exactly right now. So
while also still doing movies
and expanding that at the same time. So and for VHS people, we, you know, it's not like, okay, here we go, music, and we forget about it. We're working on VHS. Doing a lot of fun things in VHS. So, you know, as you'll see each week here, we'll talk about both, and it's going to be exciting too.
Someone actually just asked a great question about music. Are we designating pressing on the label?
Yes, actually.
We are.
We're not designating first press, but we will say early press. And we're kind of, it should always say some kind of designation of
early press,
repress, reissue, remaster. They're all different terms. So we're going to go over that in a future live, talking about each one, because a lot of people, myself included, would mess up reissue and repress.
Or remaster, or, you know, and we want to make sure everybody has the understanding of what all of that is, and what all of.
Here's the perfect example. This is something we're working on earlier too. Say this Enema of the State. The first print. You see on her badge on the top, a capital B will be typically what I know it to be as first press. And the band didn't like that, because their branding didn't like a capital B, so they had it changed to a lowercase b. This would be somewhat around the second print cassette. But then the funny thing is, the album was big, so they wanted to get the cross off of her hat. So
Do you know the story behind that?
I thought I
So
just said it.
you know what? There's more to it.
Oh, okay.
So technically, the WHO and the UN designate it as a war crime, because they are not a medical company. They're not doing anything medical. That is the Red Cross used to symbolize, first aid and medical stuff. And yeah, technically they were in violation of the Geneva Convention having
Well,
that there, so they had to remove it. Fun fact.
yeah.
Yeah,
It's
getting crazy.
and that's the fun thing about like music is there is different variants. There's different timing of these pressings, and it's like yes, leftover stuff in the late 2000s. We understand why it's around, but a first press of some of these cassettes or CDs, I think a lot of people are finding that it's not easy to find, and especially sealed in good condition.
Another great question from the same person. Why are we going with early press designation over first press?
Well, that was actually a very conscious decision because first press can change, right? Like what we know of. So, say right now I just mentioned the capital B, right? And what if there's a spelling error on the back that designated between first and second print by like that much? Well, now we can't change the label. We can't change that designation.
Yeah.
So it's a very dangerous game to play.
Or if a preview album surfaced, like maybe one of the band members have like an original copy, their first ever cassette. Well, is that now the first print? And we want to make sure that everything that we're putting on the label is accurate and will be accurate.
Yeah, and can stand the test of time.
Yeah.
Because that's hard. Once you put first print, you're kind of assuming that no knowledge can future be found that could predate it, and that's very dangerous. So we put early press. We're going to put some definitions to that as we get closer. Like, does early press mean first year?
Yeah.
Is it the first print as far as we know it? Is it first print and second print as long as first year? We want to put out, kind of clear guidelines of what we intend, how we're getting to that conclusion, because it's important to, if you see early pressing, what does that mean, right? So
what can it guarantee you?
Well, nothing, because that'd be kind of, I don't want to guarantee them on the variant.
Oh, no, but it's early.
Okay.
And we're not saying it's first print. And
I'm just kidding.
That's the point. Like, we don't want to put first print there and say, yep, that's it. That's first print. And then anything that comes later that could be before that, we're like, oh, okay, yeah, now that's first print. We've seen it before in VHS. We'll see it again probably in other media. But we do make that conscious effort and decision to not designate first print on anything.
It's just dangerous. I mean, I know. I think one of our competitors recently went against what they used to put first print. They stopped doing it. I think it was a good decision.
Yeah.
And it's something I would love to. I know people selling really want to put first print because it really adds a lot of oomph to it, but. Yeah. It's a very conscious decision for long term that we want to be always correct on our labels, because once someone gets something like this encapsulated, we can't go back and change the label. So the variant information will change with the QR. We're going to update variant information as we learn more. So that's actually something that I don't believe any other grading company's done before, that we're going to really focus on, is that the QR, yes, it goes to this exact item, but it'll change variant information as we get closer, more details and more we've learned, because we're never going to stop learning. So why should this be static? Why should it? It's a dynamic research that goes on for decades. So
yeah, and it is always the information that we have is always there.
Yeah, and also the other thing is, in time, not yet, but in time when you scan the QR code, it will give a population report. That's the goal of it. We're not there yet. Yeah. There's always a dilemma of if population reports are good right out the gate. I was leaning that way, but it leads to, I think, better to have a full population report, because it's like, what does 1,000 items mean? 2,000, 5,000? We want there to be a good roundness to the population reports as we release them.
So you get a better comparison.
Yeah.
It's hard to compare a one of two, you know? And that never means that there are only two in existence, and it's important that the information there is is accurate and relevant and can be used in the right way.
Exactly.
You know, it's not just seeing two and being like, oh my gosh, there's only two. So then if somebody sees it, they're like, I must have that. You know, to ensure we're doing it right.
Exactly, and
Yeah.
it's not that anyone will get that information outside of who's working here and to be used. It's just it's gonna be one of those times like truly how many notorious BIGs we might not know for 5 years. You know, like it's sometimes these things take time to surface, and it'll be good
Yeah.
to see how population reports out of VHS. And
Yeah.
VHS, you know, it's fun to see what comes in that we didn't expect would be here.
Yeah.
You know,
Five
so
star makes another good point. For rookie cards or first appearance, that's what matters. First print is the thing. So yeah, we understand that for some people the first print like is what they're going for. And all we can do is provide the information that can help people understand what we mean by early pressing, and people can find out like and make their own opinion of what a first pressing would be.
yeah, and I think, you know, what I always like to think is the label gives you the facts, right? The front label especially gives you the facts. And with that knowledge is that with the guides we put out there that you could determine more. And the thing is, like some of these things are in limbo for what the community has a consensus on. So we shouldn't designate prints. You know, it's the same thing as, you know, we don't, you know, it's one of those things that we want to give all that information, but sometimes it's, I think, oh, we're in the middle of working with a great friend of the company on a Wu-Tang article, and the number of variants to 36 chambers just is keeps adding, you
Yeah.
know, and forget if we're at 8 or 9, and that's not talking, I mean, there's only like 2 that are later on. So that means
Yeah.
like 7 variants in the early days, and to
Yeah.
say, hey, you know, the time window has dots rather than lines and lines and dots.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, so we're very conscious of it. Of course, if it was definite, like it just doesn't happen that way. It's like if the information was out there just like this, and like the thing is, people can buy one from a West Coast store and an East Coast store, and they look different. And it doesn't mean either of them didn't come out that first day. It just means there's different printing presses, and we
Yeah.
visit those.
Yeah.
We talked about it last week. We visit the printing presses, and
Yeah.
it's really cool to learn more and more about it. And we definitely like to support stuff with facts.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and we have another comment from Munchnick. Early prints or your print is fine and makes sense, and it's factual and won't pose a risk of misinformation. Yep.
Yep. That's
Totally.
exactly. And we, you know, we do want to put something that like clearly kind of states the whole range of it, and that's what we're still working on to make sure we use the right definitions, the right words to, and you know, it's a community thing. It's not just
Yep.
us, and we're trying to work with people to kind of like, does this feel right? You know, because it's
Yeah.
not anything. I don't care if, you know, we're not looking for credit for it. So, like,
Right.
you know,
Yeah.
we just want to get it right for you. You know, that's really, and we know how much weight, you know, if we designate something, 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 something.
Yeah,
Something,
something first
something.
print. We understand. We don't live in our own little bubble of
Yeah.
rewind, and we don't know what it means to people. Like, and I think that's probably why we've probably spent hours talking about it,
Oh.
not just for music, but for all media, and just trying to find our place, knowing where we sit in this bigger universe of collecting.
Do it right. You know, that's the thing
Yeah.
is like it's nonstop of trying to make sure that what we're putting out there is best for everyone, and not best for values, but for any collector that comes and
Yeah.
owns that piece. And that's the most.
Mhm.
It's always the end user that really matters the most, because that's the person that's going to have it on that shelf
Yeah.
in 10 years, and they come back, and if we said first print's not, they're like dumbasses. You know, like,
What
you
do they
know?
know? They see
You know?
their green coming. What do they know about
Yeah,
it?
we just want to, you know, do you right. So it's kept
Yeah.
in mind that, you know, we're gonna learn more day in, day out. So especially, you know, the thing with music is there is how many different releases? Probably a million different releases. So, you know, the knowledge never stops. And like while we have good handles on some of the main albums that were released at different time periods, you know, you send us something like a South African release of, I don't, you know, this or that,
Yeah.
like, because every album got released in different countries.
Yeah.
We're doing with different pressings, and there's so much. I mean, what's this release of? What did I get the other week? It was a release of. Oh man, it wasn't Nevermind. It was something out of Czech. It was out of the Czech.
Oh,
And I was just like, okay, like,
yeah. And actually, I had a conversation with a collector at the beginning of this year, and he collects German CDs,
mhm,
mainly the ones that were impressings when the wall was still up, because they're different. So, and
that's
it's
cool.
right,
Yeah.
right. It's so unique and different. And again, with that, like, how can you can't say that's a first print, or you know what I mean? Like,
Well,
it's like
how do they well,
where's the
that,
line?
but that's also with sometimes with the UK would have
Mm.
releases that predated the US, Beatles and
Hmm.
such. So how would a Parlophone record release compared to a Capitol Records release? It's and we're trying to make it consistent across all the verticals too.
Yeah,
That's really important.
yeah,
And we're looking at a scope of 70 years plus of music over three verticals at the same time to make sure that the terminology and the words we're using, the glossaries are lined up to accurately be across the board.
yeah. So Vinyl asks a good question that we might come back to at a later date. How do you differentiate on a label between early pressing? A release could have the same barcode, same release year, same country, etc., but be different versions.
um that's where the repress comes in, and that's something that that's the hard thing we're trying to differentiate. Whether it's an early press, but you have a repress, because repress will be looking the my understanding of repress to the definition is that it looks the exact same but was just pressed later. So we're trying to be conscious of that, right? Like that it's an early press, it should be the first year, but then it was a repress, but we don't want to just say repress because that could be sound like 10 years later.
If it's not been remastered, it could
Yeah.
be a repress. The Nirvana, Nevermind, they
Yeah.
got repressed in the early 2000s, and then it got remastered, but it got remastered from the repress, not remastered from the original. You
Yeah.
know, so
So
it's that kind of thing. We want to make sure that we are consistent and that it's
and so
accurate.
but we want to hear from you. That's the thing, is like we want to
Yeah,
hear what when you guys hear this, reach out and talk to us, because like it's important we get this right. And those are, I probably shouldn't be saying this loud, but say like the Blink 182 right here. Technically, to far as we know, it's a second print, right? It's they changed the letter B, and but it's before the thing. I believe the same exact situation where it's an early press, but it's not the first press. So
yeah.
and there's a huge significant difference on it. So would it be a reissue at that point? That's the thing we got to figure out, because reissue has the changes
Hmm.
that a repress doesn't have. That's visual. But yeah, so we're trying to figure out some.
Welcome to the
Yeah,
conversations that we
welcome to the
have daily.
conversation. That's what this is about, is those conversations
Yeah.
and us getting it right by launch. And that's where we do have some stuff to really find. That's why we have a soft launch. We go through and make sure we really solidify what we're putting out there so it doesn't change.
Yeah.
So
Because we want to do it right. You know,
exactly.
that's what it all comes down to. It's not. It's doing right by the collector, doing right by the media, and making sure that the information that we're putting out there, we can stand behind and be like, "Yep, we are happy with how that label is now and in the future."
Exactly. And that's where like there's thoughts of doing early press if it's like within the first year, but then having the next variant information be next to it, being that early press, and stuff is like early press, lower B, but like we kind of want to say like early press for yeah. So that's what like let me see real quick. Did we
This one doesn't.
Oh,
Have
this
it.
one doesn't have it.
No,
We were
no, this one
this is more
has.
for show, but like I made a label this morning at like 6
Yeah.
a.m. that says early, like this would be early press, comma, lower B
Yeah.
in parentheses, it says comma Red Cross. So it has the variant information. So if you know, and if you don't know, hopefully we have a guide out for it that you could designate. And that's where right now we're at. But it doesn't mean we won't change it before we launch, because we're still, as you can see, in flux there.
Yeah, different albums will come up and they pose different questions and challenges to us, and then we try and work out the best solution to showcase that tape, and then that helps us inform everything else.
Yeah, and that's the thing. We're trying to decide this, it's for all three verticals. So and across all albums, not just Blink 182, but how does the Green Day have a similar thing, and get those terms that you understand, so you can make a conscious decision when purchasing
Yeah,
or selling or trading or just keeping.
or just keeping. Yeah.
Yeah. So
We support however anybody wants to collect, and that's the important part.
yeah.
If people want to just get that one tape that they treasure, that they've had since whenever, encapsulated, that's great.
No,
If,
we say no to them.
yeah.
Generally. We say no.
The sentimental ones, nah.
You know, send it somewhere else. You
But
know,
it goes from people who want to do that to people who want to encapsulate 200, 300, 500 tapes, you know?
Yeah.
And they want to do what they want to do with them. Great.
yeah, I mean, I
can-
personally, I love buying, selling, trading. It's fun. Like, I
Yeah.
enjoy that. I love trying to trade up to my grails and enjoying the hobbies and the marketplaces.
Yeah.
You know, and then, you know, some people, they like to just buy what they want in their collections, and that's great too. And it's funny because the last 24 hours I've had to do, I didn't have to. It's fun to like debate these things online with a lot of online trolls about like, is grading good or whatever, and it's always fun to experience those type of people.
Yeah.
So
And I think is rewind. Anyone can do whatever they want with their media.
yeah, you know,
However you want to collect, we always say we're not here to tell people how to collect.
no,
It's
yeah,
not us.
and that's the thing. Like, I really want to stress that we try to stay out of the thick of values.
Yeah.
You know, it's important that we support the community the best we can, but we try to stick out of like, you know, the values of things, because that's for people to declare, and what's the most valuable, if it should have value. You know, we're here to provide a service that should help you enhance your collection, save it from getting a crack. I mean, tapes crack easy, so
CDs as well. And,
yeah, and I mean records, you know, the creases and such. So, you know, it's important that we're here for you guys and girls, and yeah.
Yeah.
But next on the list, I do want to mention. I was gonna go over some music stuff, but we kind of went pretty deep there. So, I do want to mention next Friday, July 7th. I believe it's at 6:30 p.m. Pacific time. So next July 7th, 6:30 p.m. Pacific time. We will be on Vintage Alliance. Well, I'll be on Vintage Alliance. They're doing auctions, and I will be these two tapes right here. They're two tomes. We're gonna be encapsulating and putting up to auction. The proceeds will go to charity. Nice. So I'll be there at 6:30 on Vintage Alliance, the Facebook group. Great. James over there is great, and yeah. Also, I decided to just pick these out right before. We're gonna be giving away a WrestleMania tape. This one has Tyson, Austin, and Michaels. Which one is this? WrestleMania 14?
Yep.
I'm trying to read my numericals. It's 14. Been a long time. So 14, and also there's they really do a lot of Star Wars toys there. So okay. I picked out, that's why I picked out those two, and I picked out the Ewok Adventures. So
brilliant.
We got 4 tapes that we'll be auctioning off. All proceeds go to charity. I'm gonna pick out 3 charities. Let the buyer pick which charity they want to go to. One will be St. Jude Children's Hospital.
Nice.
The other 2, I usually pick out something cool, but something different, so they kind of make their own choice. So,
brilliant.
Check that out. It'll be a lot of fun. Yeah.
Nice.
So,
yeah. Shall we carry on the movie thread?
Sure.
Yeah. I got my fun facts, and then we got trivia.
Oh, do you want fun facts or trivia?
Let's do fun facts.
Fun facts.
Yeah, you can wait for the trivia.
Okay.
You gotta hold on. I mean, you've been here for this long, you know, you gotta hang around, because
cheers.
The fun is yet to begin with Dan's effort or attempt for the trivia. But anyway, in 1980, on the 1st of July, Disney announced that they were going to be releasing home videos for the rental and store market. So that's, oh gosh, how many years ago? Many years ago.
What year?
1980.
43 years ago.
43 years ago, on the 1st of July. So I figured that's pretty apt. It's coming up. And they only released 10 titles to begin with, and you could rent and purchase them from photo mats around the country.
Can you list the 10 movies?
Yes.
No, off the memory.
Off memory? No. And they're also, they're super random. So the only one that makes sense is 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. I remember that one off the top of my head. But the rest of them are just like random Disney movies. You got Bedknobs and Broomsticks in there, Black Hole, Davy Crockett, King of the Wild, Frontier. Like there's just, it's not like it was big. It wasn't like Cinderella, or Sleeping Beauty. Like, it was all these random.
I'm sure with contracts and leasings, that's why they had to pick random.
Yeah. And then later on that year, they announced another 10, like Mary Poppins and stuff was included in that. That one I can remember also.
Nice.
So that's my little fun fact. Disney got into the VHS game. They were keen for it in 1980.
Right on.
Yeah. Oh, we got one more question. Is this about? Yeah, when you launch vinyl later in the summer, will you support multi-disc?
Yes.
Like we're talking gatefold?
Yeah.
Like
we actually coming out with 2 encapsulations at the time.
Yep.
It was, again, like each time we make a new mold, a new thing, it's a whole different big mold and big process. But we made 2 different sizes to support the thicker sizes. So we should be able to get most, if not all.
Yeah, gatefold, slip sleeves. And we'll go over that, I think, at a later date. We'll talk more about vinyl and talk more, go more in depth of the media that we can and can't.
Yeah, and we should be capturing over 90-something% of the different size. You know what's funny with vinyl is there's measuring vinyl. There's so many tolerances that are different. Every single one. It's so weird because in my head I always thought 12 by 12. They're exact same. That is completely not the truth. So
that is a lie.
That is a lie. So we had to get creative, and we made 2 different encapsulations. We have different blisters to hold them. So it'll be a very fun challenge to tell you everything you can send in, which is probably most things that people have, but it was definitely interesting trying to make those blisters.
Yeah, and I think we can go over more closer to the time. We'll talk more about vinyl and kind of the process.
Next week. Next week we won't be doing Rewind Wednesday. I will be out of town, and we figured everyone's with 4th of July.
Everyone's recovering.
Everyone's recovering from their hangovers, or some people. So when we get back after that, we will have it'll be 1 week, about 1 week till we launch music cassettes and CDs. So there's gonna be a lot to talk about. Yeah, a lot. We have so much planned that we've been working with so many people for that launch week. So it's going to go off here. It's going to be a party. Yeah. You better sober up after 4th of July, because we're going to fuck you up. I'm just kidding.
And then Comic-Con is happening after that.
Yes, Comic-Con. And if anyone wants to come, he'll be there.
I will be there. I'm actually volunteering for a different company. So I'll be down there working some, but then also getting to enjoy it a little bit. So if you see me, say hi, or don't. I'll be there. Anyway, onto some trivia. Some
trivia time.
So
right now, last week we introduced trivia. Right now, Callum lost last week, so it's 1-0 me.
Yeah, I lost pretty bad.
Yeah,
I think I only got 1 or 2 right.
Yeah, you have to get 3 right to get the point.
Yeah. Okay.
So
we do need to get like a little whiteboard up here so we can.
I have a good idea using someone from the community's face as the numbers, but we'll wait till 2 weeks from now.
Okay. Look forward to it.
Some fun.
Okay, Dan.
Okay.
Are you ready? No cheating now. No looking.
I can't read shit anyways.
So this is all about Apollo 13.
Oh, the movie.
The movie.
So today, why are we doing Apollo 13?
Apollo 13 came out on the 30th of this month in 1995.
That makes more sense. We gotta figure out like an intro to trivia.
Yeah.
Like, it is Rewind Trivia.
We're gonna have a cut screen.
Yeah.
We're gonna do it. We're gonna have a Rewind Trivia cut screen. There's gonna be graphics.
And we're gonna blow up a tape to introduce
explosions. Great. I can see
I love Apollo 13. Can I just say I really like Tom Hanks, so
Tom Hanks is great.
Yeah, when COVID almost took Tom Hanks, that's when I took it serious. Well, I'm sure everyone remembers what he got, because he's like the first notable person.
Was he in Australia as well? Was that not?
He was filming something, but him and his wife was at Rita.
Yeah, I think they get pretty sick. Yeah. Tom Hanks, literally the dad of the world. Let's be honest.
Best friend of the world.
Best friend.
Yeah.
What a man. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, Apollo 13 came out 30th, 95. Going over that.
Picturing the movie in my head. Yeah, I haven't watched it in a while.
It's older than me. Fun fact.
That's crazy.
You're welcome, everybody. Dan. Yep. Scenes shot. This is your first question. Scenes shot in reduced gravity were done on a high-speed plane nicknamed the Vomit Comet. True or false?
False.
That is indeed true.
Damn it.
Yep. The plane flew parabolic arcs at high speed to simulate reduced gravity for 20 seconds each. In total, the crew flew 612 arcs for those scenes.
Wow.
That is intense. You can actually pay to do that. You can pay to go on the Vomit Comet. I think they have one in LA. One in
Comet. That's what it's called.
Yeah. It's a like an Airbus style twin engine aircraft, and they do these loops. And basically, the aircraft falls to the ground as fast as gravity's pulling you to the ground, so that you feel weightless.
Can we research why they call it Vomit Comet?
Because you throw up.
I figured that, but there has to.
The weightlessness causes people to throw up.
That sounds terrible.
Yeah.
I do not want to do that.
Yeah, I want to do it. I really want to do it. You can do it. You can definitely do it in Vegas. It's not cheap though. I think it's like 10 grand or something to do it.
10 grand to throw up.
No, to feel weightless without having to go to space. But anyway, you didn't get that right.
Yeah.
0 for 1. Question 2. SpaghettiOs were used to simulate real vomit on set for Bill Paxton's character. True or false?
True.
False. It was beefaroni. In a bet between Hanks and Paxton lost and had to eat the leftover stew after a take. My God, that gives you the bulk just thinking about. Nasty. Okay, 0 for 2.
Yeah, I gotta go 3 for 3.
Question 3. Real images of Earth taken from the actual Apollo 8 missions were used in the movie. True or false?
False, of course.
It's true. Gonna rage quit in a minute. A collection of photos taken by astronauts Jim Lovell and Bill Anders in 1968 on the Apollo 8 mission are still so breathtaking, and they were actually used in Apollo 13. And that, can we just 1968 Apollo 8? We're going to space in 1968.
Well, let me just point out, if I go 0 for 5, I think I should win. I have 50-50 in my mind.
Yeah. Now you have 50-50 chance of getting it right. Okay. Yeah. Question 4.
Don't worry, you can know I'm not cheating because
clearly
you're like hiding it from me.
Right.
Like...
Question 4. Apollo 13 had a hefty budget for the time of $52 million. As such items like the spacesuits cost over $100,000 each. True or false?
False. There's more.
False. The spacesuits rang in at just over 30 grand.
Oh.
They were actually cheaper. Who knew? The spacesuits were so cheap.
Question
5. This is it. You gotta get this one. Well, it doesn't really matter. You lost anyway.
Lost either way.
Tom Hanks received more than just a hefty check for his work in Apollo 13. This included a meteorite being named after him following the film's release. True or false?
True.
Correct. We need to get a bell as well when you get things wrong. After his role in the film, Tom Hanks got an asteroid named after him. The asteroid is called 12818 Tom Hanks.
Do you know why I knew that was true? Because I was like, would someone name a meter after Tom Hanks? I'm like, fuck yeah, I would.
Yeah.
Like,
why wouldn't you?
Done.
Space nerds doing space nerd things.
Yeah, I mean, of course. I mean, it's Tom Hanks. Well, that was fun.
Yeah.
I think.
So now, I have a point because you lost.
Yeah, we pretty much don't have a point.
So now we're back
to zero.
Back to zero.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to.
Maybe we need easier facts.
Yeah, I think we need ones that like there's no way I would know any of that. If you did Forrest Gump, I think I have a good. I don't know. They're like one because the thing is the trivia is not. They're not like things you would just know. Like.
Yeah.
I don't know. You'd have to be like a hardcore fan.
Yeah, that's true. Someone is loving our beards. Yes.
Of course. I mean,
we're doing good. You just missed trivia. You came in. I don't know if you were here for trivia. You missed it. Dan was awful. You got 2 right. No. Yes. 2.
Pretty much the 50-50 of guessing true or false.
Yeah.
The equivalent as such. But
yeah,
it was fun. But yeah, music. To do a recap.
Yeah.
We launched. We're launching music July 18th, which is 3 weeks away or something like that. The cassettes and CDs, and we're following with vinyl sometime by the end of summer. We are really excited. We will be doing. We will not be doing doubles at the start. We'll just be doing singles. Almost dropped it, but you know what? Our case is so safe. I'm not worried. But we'll be doing other fun videos of us doing crazy stuff to our encapsulations.
Yeah, that's the plan.
That will be amazing. We
Yep.
will blow some shit up, and
Yeah, and have some real world testing.
yes,
Yes.
we have some fun stuff picked out. This week, Tracy and Callum are going to the mall.
Yes.
That's a fun
We're gonna go see
segment.
Indiana Jones.
Are you guys actually in
No.
Indiana Jones?
No.
That'd be kind of funny.
Yeah. It's like, oh, where's mine, buddy?
Well, it's like, oh, you're out by the mall, so that'll be fun. Uh-oh, that's my alarm because I have a
Oh, you got another meeting.
because I had a meeting at 2, so
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah.
so we got like 3 minutes, but
Time check.
yeah, that's
Someone was asking, did we run over a case with a car? We ran over a VHS one. There's no reason why we can't run over. CDs
yeah.
and
This would do a lot better
maybe
than
we
anything
should
else.
stack them. So like stack them on top of each other, like CD, vinyl, like this, and
Well, I think
everything
with the
stack it.
cassette, I really want a Major League pitcher to throw this against. Trying to see and to have like the speed gun.
yeah. If anyone
That'd
knows
be
a
cool.
picture.
Yeah, I do know one actually. He's
Damn.
I forgot what team he's on, but my sister actually our kid was on the same soccer team.
Oh.
And I know the wife, but
Nice.
yeah, so
Great.
might have to talk to him, pay him a few $100 to.
Eat
Test
it.
this
Oh,
out.
wow.
Well, it's if that guy threw one of these at someone, it could hurt someone really bad.
Yeah.
We're gonna
Should
throw
get
these
some
off of some buildings.
Mm-hmm.
That's gonna be fun. Again, if you have any great ideas, we're gonna start. I think we're gonna post a contest.
Yep.
For the best idea of how to destroy one of these.
How to test. It'll be the Rewind Ultimate Test Challenge.
It's the verses.
Yep.
The verse because we want to do it like kind of like Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat verse mode.
Yeah.
It was a good friend's idea, and it would be fun to be like Rewind Case versus baseball bat.
Yeah.
So
Rewind Case versus Brick.
I think we might start that after the launch of music, just because we got a lot of music stuff coming up, and do like a cash prize maybe.
Yeah. Cash prize. Who
If
doesn't
you're-
like cash money dollar?
$250 or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
See what we could get
We'll
out
iron
there.
out the details, but it's
Yeah,
definitely
it's an open conversation. They're like, make it 300. We're like, 300.
it
great.
becomes a bidding war for what
Yeah.
we're going to give people.
Well, maybe there'll be a 1, 2, and 3, and that way we spread out the love.
Yeah.
Because we don't want to give away collectibles. No one cares. They want cash money, you
Yeah.
know? But, so it's been a fun week. I'm so glad we finally got to launch. It was important to be able to launch before, we got into July. It was good to be able to talk to the community. I felt like it was good to talk to you directly, put out a video about it. I think that's the best communication.
There is one more music question.
Mhm.
How does grading work? Have you got your own system?
Yes, but we're actually going to be putting out grading standards.
Yeah.
It's very important that you understand what's the ceiling grade of items. So, say with VHS, there's a drill hole in it. No matter what, your top grade is an 8.5 box grade.
Yep.
And a 3.5 seal grade.
Yep.
We're going to be putting out those standards, not just for music, but I think VHS
Yeah.
in the near future. Our goal is really going over each thing. We actually had one of our teammates make a document with it very well spelled out, and we went over that. So we will put pieces of that out. We won't put out our internal document, of course.
Yeah.
But we want you to have a handful of things of, hey, if it has a piece of plastic missing more than a quarter,
Yeah.
what's the top seal grade?
Yeah,
And
like
then-
basic things.
yeah,
that
and like
see.
things, because again, like a lot of stuff is done with measurements. Say like that, a quarter missing of plastic, the highest seal grade out of 5 is 3.5, and we want that consistency. So when you go to purchase, if there's half the plastic missing, you're like, why did this get a 4-star? There's
happened?
a problem there.
Yeah.
So we want you to understand when you buy or sell or trade or just get something, what's the rewind grade? It's very standard compared to very other collectibles. I've been in collecting for a very long time, so the 10-point scale is very much infused in my brain. But the seal grade is kind of very similar to others.
Yeah.
5 is just near perfect. 4.5 is pretty much case fresh.
Yeah. And we'll probably put out a video in time as well of us talking about it more,
Yeah.
so that content is always there and available for people. We want to make sure everything that we can put out there is out there.
Exactly. It's great to. There's only so much time a day, but with the launch of music, we're planning to put those grading standards on the website. There is some revisions to the website. If you haven't noticed, we have been adding to the website. There is the new homepage, new slider, new media slider. So we're improving everything day by day. So there's so much that's happened in less than 6 months.
Yeah, and don't forget, check out our launch video from yesterday. It was done very well by our editor. We're really happy with how it came out, and it'll give you some more information about music. And remember, we're not going to be here next week, so you won't see us for another 2 weeks. And that's us.
Yeah, well, thank you all for tuning in, and look forward to seeing you in 2 weeks. Last question is...
Any sneak peeks on what the vinyl case will look like? You might see it in 2 weeks, but probably not.
Actually, in 2 weeks you should see it.
Oh?
Yeah, we want to make sure that we don't like showing off cases that aren't near final. So
yeah.
But anyways, we gotta go.
Yeah, we got other things to do, other meetings to go to. Love
Have
you guys.
a good one.
Enjoy.
Take care.
Goodbye.
Bye.